Hello and welcome to this box of manga. It's time for my February haul for February. And this month, obviously, I got a lot from Sci-Fi. I think 34, which, I'm not supposed to go over 30 volumes, but I ended up not being able to choose which 4 to remove, so I ended up with 34, as well as a few other things here. So anyway, let's get into the haul. A Rowan. Okay, so first off for the haul, I have a film here. This is the Rowan Castle in the Mirror film, which Anime Limited released finally, because I didn't know how I was gonna watch this, but they released this on Blu-ray. Obviously, it's the adaptation of the novel, which the manga is also an adaptation of. But yeah, I did decide to watch this, even though I haven't read the final volume of the manga yet, and yeah. And other than a few pacing issues at the beginning where they kind of rushed through kind of like the first couple of volumes of the manga, it was good. I enjoyed it. And yeah, I would recommend it, especially if you enjoyed the manga. But yeah, that's the Rowan Castle in the Mirror movie. Next up, some manga that's not from Sci-Fi. So first up, I've got these, not the bottom one, these 4 from Dragon Ball Zoe. I will leave her in the description so you can check out her channel. I got No Longer Heroine Volume 8, which she was giving away because there was a bend in the cover. It doesn't bother me. So yeah, that's Volume 8 of No Longer Heroine. I enjoy this series. Volume 7 still had me annoyed at the guy. So maybe he'll annoy me less in this volume, but yeah, looking forward to reading this. And then I bought from her The Witch and the Beast, volumes 1, 2, and 5. This is like a supernatural sort of dark seinen where we follow. I have just read the first volume today. I haven't read 2 yet, and obviously haven't read 5. Yeah, it follows this woman. I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not going to attempt it. And she is the Beast in the title, and then this guy is like someone she works with. And she is hunting for a witch who placed a curse on her, which kind of... She has this like true form, and her true form is trapped in this body, and she's hunting for a witch. And in order to break the curse that the witch put on her, so she can return to her true body permanently. So she is working with this guy in an organization called the I read this today. I read this probably about 2 hours ago, and I can't remember what the organization's called. But that they work for an organization who like deal with like magic sort of, and like witches and any sort of supernatural phenomenon, basically. It starts out where they're hunting a witch in this town, and it basically explains everything, and then it goes on to like another sort of witch hunt they do for them. For the next witch, because obviously she's looking for a specific witch who put this curse on her, but she doesn't know what that witch looks like, so she's kind of just going after every witch that she comes across. Yeah, I did enjoy the first volume. It's like gothic in style. And yeah, it has some gore to it and some like dark themes, and I really enjoyed the first one, so I'll be reading the second one, and then I'll have to pick up 3 and 4 before I can read 5, obviously. But yeah, I do like the artwork, and yeah, I do like the colour of this one as well. So yeah, and next up, this is something I found on Vinted. This is Love Song by Keiko Nishi, 4 tales by shoujo artist Keiko Nishi. These are actually josei, but I don't think josei was really a term that was used when this was first published. Because this is like, I'm pretty sure this is the second shoujo manga that Viz published in English after 4 shoujo stories, which I have on the shelf over there. Obviously, all these stories are like from the 70s, I think they came out in Japan. But in English, this came out in 1997. December 1997 was the original printing for this. Yeah, this is like 27 years old, this volume. I had to work that out. I'm terrible at maths. But yeah, this is like, I'm pretty sure it's the second shoujo manga they ever published after 4 shoujo stories, and I think the one after I think the third one was a one called AA Prime. Yeah, I have been hunting for this volume for a while. After I got a hold of 4 shoujo stories, I found out about this one and I wanted to try pick it up. But it did, obviously, I wasn't actively searching for it at the time. I was just scrolling Vinted for manga, as I do sometimes. And I came across it, and I was like, this is actually the first time I've seen this being sold in the UK. So yeah, I had to get it. And it contains obviously 4 short stories by Keiko Nishi, who also had 2 stories in 4 shoujo stories. But their stories include Love Song, Jewels of the Seaside, the Signal Goes Brink Brink, and The Skin of Her Heart. And they are about, in these 4 tales of love and hate, a bitter young woman abuses her boyfriend, 3 jealous sisters share a terrible secret, a high school misfit develops psychic healing powers, and a factory girl on a space colony longs for a better life. So yeah, I did like the Her Promise and Since You've Been Gone stories from 4 shoujo stories, so yeah, I wanted to give this one a go. Obviously, I haven't read it yet. It arrived yesterday. So yeah, now I'm just looking for AA Prime to complete like the original run of shoujo that Viz printed. And now on to the Sci-Fi box, which is full. Anyway, I'll start with the bookmarks. So obviously Sci-Fi includes a lot of bookmarks, but the new bookmarks which they've included some of in this box are different. Like these ones are very glossy, but these ones are matte. Yeah, I put aside some up here on my desk which I haven't got yet. So these are the new ones. There's a cute doggo in like a spacesuit. That's my favourite one. There's also this one with a boy and a dog sitting under a tree. Then there's this one with like a girl and I think that's a dragon or a dinosaur. Then there's this one of a man on top of a mountain. Then there's this giant purple blobby dude looking over a planet. And then there's an eyeball that's melting. And then there's this like character select sort of one with like robots and like sci-fi characters on it. So yeah, they're all the new ones. And they are of a matte texture rather than the usual glossy texture. I'll put those over there. So now to get into the manga, I'm probably going to start with the smallest pile first, which is this one. The first up is The Strange House Volume 2. This is a mystery manga revolving around floor plans and a strange house that has like a weird floor plan and like speculating on why it's like that. And then yeah, the first one is very interesting and I'm definitely looking forward to reading the second one and finding out more of what's going on, because the first one was kind of all speculation on the main character and his friend's part about why the house is built like that. So maybe we'll get some actual answers in this one. And next, we have one of my favourite new manga, My Girlfriend's Child, Volume 6. I've been very enjoying this one. It's so good. And I think Volume 9 is the final one in the main story, and then there's a 10th volume, which is, I think, side stories. So there's like 4 more volumes to go for this one. But yeah, I've been very loving this one. It's very good. Obviously, it's about teen pregnancy. Next, and this is a new volume 1, the next 3 in this pile. This pile is small 7Cs, and all the next 3 are new. So the first one is Choking on Love. This is actually a Kodansha title from Dessert magazine, but it's being published by 7Cs. I noticed quite a bit recently that Kodansha has been giving their licenses to other publishers to license, rather than actually printing them physically themselves. I know, not this one, but another one in this pile, I know Kodansha does do digitally, but this lately, Kodansha's just been having other companies license their stuff physically for them. Like, I noticed that Tokyo Pop has just gotten the license for a dessert title. And then obviously 7Cs has done this one, and the next one that I'm going to be showing next. But this is a college romance by the author of Living Room Matsunaga-san, Keiko Iwashita. And I'm pretty sure it revolves around music. I think he's in a band and he plays guitar. He's a single-minded art student who dreams of becoming a graphic designer. She was insecure about being ordinary compared to her peers. Gaku, a free-spirited guitarist from the same university, turns the world upside down with a chronic encounter with a ramen shop. Ibari wants nothing more than to escape the disorder. Gaku brings her a perfectly planned life, but as he slowly breaks down her walls, Hikari starts to realise that a real chaos might be just what she needs. Yeah, it's a college romance. It's the author of Matsunaga-san, so yeah. I reckon I'll like this one, and it revolves around like rock music too. It even has the one is even in like a guitar pick. This next one is also a Kodansha title that 7Cs is publishing, which is Grasses with a Chance of Delinquent. I'm not 100% sure what magazine this one ran in. It might have been Dessert as well. But this is a shoujo high school romance about a girl who I don't think she likes delinquents. I think she just wants like a quiet life. But then she meets this guy who used to be a delinquent, but now he's kind of turned himself around, and he like wears glasses. But then like he takes his glasses off and he kind of becomes a bit more delinquent-y again, or something like that. I have heard a lot of good things about this one. A lot of people I see on like Instagram have been really enjoying it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. And this last one is Home Sweet Home. This is another high school shoujo romance about a girl who, I think her parents move abroad for a job and she wants to stay in Japan so she can continue going to the same school. So they agree that she can stay, but she has to go live with a relative's daughter because they don't want her living by herself. But it turns out this daughter is actually his son, and she's now living alone with this boy who I think is also in high school. And obviously it's like forced proximity trope romance. And I'm pretty sure it's only 3 volumes, but yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a go as well. That's all of the smaller 7C stack. There is more 7Cs in a larger trim stack. Okay, we're going to go with this one next. This is the Viz Ian Press stack. So first up is my special one, volume 7. I'm continuing on with the second couple. I am actually quite enjoying this couple. It's one of the... It's the main guy's bandmate and an actor. Yeah, that's that one. And then continuing with Spy Family with Volume 12. I very enjoy Spy Family. I've been... Obviously, everyone knows what Spy Family is. But yeah, I continue to really enjoy Spy Family, and yeah. And next is the last Viz is Sakura Sakura Volume 4. It's Aosaki Taka. I've been enjoying this one as well. It's very much an Aosaki Taka manga. It's like her typical high school romance that she does, with like kind of a bit more heavy on the drama in her series. But yeah, this one is a girl who wants to find a boy who helped her on a train one day when she was not feeling well. He opened a window for her, and then he returned her bag, which she left behind. And he left a note with his number on and his name. And she finds out the guy is possibly this guy's brother, so she starts trying to get to know this guy so she can be introduced to his brother. So that's that one. And these are small yen press. First up is a BL called Be My Worst Nightmare. It's, I think, high school BL. About, I think it's two guys who like don't like each other, or one guy who doesn't like the other guy. Sayo Hoshikawa is a high schooler with a height complex who witnesses his unrequited crush getting rejected by the person Sayo despises most, the tall, popular, and menacing Asuki Masabe. He's better than Sayo at pretty much everything, and what maybe gets under Sayo's skin is when the jerk calls him cute, but one night he has a dream about Masabe caressing him, and that's only the beginning, as his dreams get even more intense. Will Sayo's nightmares ever end, or will he have to confront how he might really feel about Masabe? Yeah, so it's a bit like Wet Dream Aquarian in the sense that he's having wet dreams about the classmate that he hates and is jealous of. But I think this is a pretty long one. I'm pretty sure this one's currently in like the double digits in terms of volumes. Obviously, it's BL, and it has the explicit content warning. It is rated mature, probably because of the wet dreams. I would imagine that's why. Next is one of my favourite new manga that I started reading last year, and that is Pink and Habanero Volume 2. This is a high school romance about a girl who she meets this guy who turns out to be one of her classmates at the train station, and he seems like a bit not kind of the person she would get along with. He seems kind of cold, he seems kind of harsh. So she kind of just doesn't want much to do with him, but then she finds out his secret that he works in this like butler cafe where he has to like pretend to be like the girls who visit the cafe's like servant and stuff, and he like says you better not tell anyone this, so she kind of has to keep this secret for him, and then they kind of start to go a bit closer and spend more time together, and yeah, it's very good. I highly enjoyed the first volume, and I'm very much looking forward to the second one. Next, we have Love of Kill After the Fire, which is the volume 14, which was it's not really side stories because there's one ongoing story that was released after the end of Love of Kill. It's kind of just like an extra volume with what happened after the story, basically. Yeah, looking forward to reading this one. And then a very much anticipated release, Your Former Volume 2 of the manga. It's been like, I'm pretty sure, over 2 years since Volume 1 came out, and I was wondering if we were ever getting Volume 2 at all. And it's finally here. And I'm super happy because I loved Volume 1. Volume 1 was fantastic. This is based off a light novel, and I do have the first 3 volumes of the light novel. I just haven't read them yet. So most likely I'll obviously be reading this before the light novel. And hopefully it won't take as long for volume 3 to come out, because I'm pretty sure volume 3 is the final volume. So I'm guessing the manga's only going to cover the first light novel. So maybe I'll just wait for volume 3 and read that and then start the light novels. But yeah, unless it takes another 2 years to come out, which I hope it doesn't. But yeah, I love Your Former. It's like a sci-fi mystery series about... I forget. I remember his name, but I just can't remember her name. Echika. She's like a detective where she uses something called... People have like these things implanted in their brains called Your Former, and they can like store memories in them and stuff, and as an investigator it's her job to go into the memories and like sort through them to solve crimes and stuff. But in order to do that she needs to be tethered to somebody and who can pull her back out again. But every single person she's partnered with has like fainted because she's obviously too good at what she does and they can't take it. So she's partnered with an amicus called Harold, an amicus is like an android. But she notoriously hates Amicus. But he's obviously the only one who can tether her without collapsing afterwards. So she's like forced to partner up with him. And I really like their dynamic, these two. They're great together. So yeah, they're tasked with solving this sort of crime that's going around where people have been like collapsing from like some sort of illness that they think they have. Yeah, volume 1 was excellent and I'm super looking forward to reading the second volume, which has finally come out. Next is Tsubaki Chow Lonely Planet, volume 8, I think 14, 16. I think the series has 14 volumes in total, right? So I think we're like over halfway now. But yeah, I like Tsubaki Chow, so I can kind of continue reading it. And last for this pile is a new series called Victoria of Many Faces. This is another one that's based off a light novel, but I don't have the light novel for this one because I wanted to try the manga out. And if I enjoy the manga, then maybe pick up the light novel. But this is I don't think it's an isekai, I think it's just a fantasy. I think she's a ex-spy or something. And hence the many faces, because she's like a spy and she can change her appearance with spy stuff. And I think she ends up rescuing this little girl and has to go on the run or something like that from what I've heard. When news of Chloe's death reached her handler, he couldn't believe it. His premier operative dashed against the rocks, never to be seen again. Just how Chloe planned it. After the organization betrayed her, she hatched a daring plan to escape and landed in the academy, the kingdom of Ashbury, under a new name, Victoria. Stopping a thief, adopting a lost child, and capturing the heart of the nation's dreamiest knight on her first day in town is nothing to a former super spy. She'll have to keep her head down to avoid the prying eyes of her new compatriots and old employer. But hey, don't retired spies deserve a chance at love too. So she fakes her death to get away from her job, basically, who betrayed her, and now she's kind of on the run from them, I guess. Moving to a new place and changing her name and rescuing this little girl. There's also apparently something to do with a knight. Anyway, I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Next, I'm going to go with probably this pile, since it's slightly smaller than the other one. This is the Kodansha Lodge and Press and One Piece books pile. So, first up is the final volume of Noragami, volume 27. This is a nice cover. Noragami has such nice artwork. But yeah, this is the last complete volume. It's quite thick compared to all the other volumes, and yeah, it's the last one. I've been reading Noragami for such a long time. It was probably one of the first, obviously not. It was like maybe the 1, 3, 4, 5, maybe the 6th or 7th manga that I ever started reading. Obviously, I watched the anime first, so yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to the end, but also it's kind of sad at the same time because I've been reading this for so many years and it's now come to an end in this tonky final volume. And put that over there. Next is Dogs and Punching Bag. This is another Ficlon. This is Kaoru Ozaki, who I tend to enjoy her works. This one is a seinen about... I'm pretty sure she moves back to her hometown after the death of a family member, and she ends up meeting this guy who apparently has a goat. She returns to a remote island hometown for her strange alcoholic father's final days. But he's not actually deceased yet. And she meets a young man who stirs up old memories and... But it's something to do with being around him as compensating for something she did in the past. It's probably like your typical Kaoru Ozaki, like heavy drama. But yeah, I like Kaoru Ozaki. I've enjoyed everything I've read from her. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. It must be a 2-in-1 because the chapters are on different pages. Next is Usotoki Red Trick 9 and 10. These are the last 2 volumes. This is now complete. This is a shoujo mystery series. Obviously, the girl can hear lies and she starts working with Mr. Iwai, who is a detective, and they solve mysteries together while also trying to get money because they never have any, and they're constantly just like living off the generosity of this person at this cafe who lets them eat there on tab. So yeah, it's a good series. I like the mysteries in it, and I like the characters too. And these are the final 2 volumes. Yeah, I wanted to just grab both of them knowing that the series had finished and just finished reading it. Rather than waiting to get one and then waiting another month to get the other, I thought, why not just get them both? Which is one of the reasons why I went over by 4 volumes this month. Anyway, next is Kowloon Generic Romance 8. Again, very interesting sci-fi romance series with lots of questions and little answers as of right now, but some answers, but then more questions, and then confusing things, and then working out what everything means, and then finding out that's not actually what it means. So yeah, it's good. And I think 9's out as well. I think. Next is another new one. This is Takahashi from the Bike Shop. This is a new josei romance about a woman who, I think she's sick of her job or something, and she has to take her bike into a repair shop, and she meets this guy who works in the repair shop. And obviously a romance ensues between them. I've heard a lot of good things about that one from Instagram as well. That one and Glasses with a Chance of Doing Good, I've seen quite a lot of people talking about them. Then Medalist Volume 4, continuing to read Medalist. I enjoy this ice skating series. The anime is currently coming out, but it's on Disney Plus, so yeah. I'm probably not going to get dubbed because I don't think Disney Plus very dubs anything, and it just makes it kind of more difficult to watch it with them having put it on Disney Plus. But yeah, I do enjoy the manga, and yeah, I'm continuing to read it. Next, How I Met My Soulmate Volume 4. I think this volume brings us up to date with Japan, or maybe Volume 5 just came out in Japan, I'm not sure. But I don't actually see a release date for Volume 5 yet, I don't think. But yeah, this is another college romance. This one's by the author of Waiting for Spring, which is a series I enjoyed. It's about a girl who, now she's in college, she wants to find her perfect soulmate. So she goes out to a club with her friend and ends up running into a guy there who like gets drunk, and she has to kind of help him home and stuff. And then she finds out that they kind of go to the same college, and he agrees to become like a romance guru to her and like help her find her soulmate. I enjoy this one. Next, there's another one I very much enjoy, and that's I See Your Face Turned Away, Volume 3. Volume 4 isn't scheduled to come out for a while, and then it's on hiatus with no indication as to whether it's coming back or not, because it's on hiatus due to some issues with the publishing, I think, is what they said. But yeah, this is a very good high school shoujo romance about unrequited love, with about 4 friends, and each one likes a different person, but none of them like each other. Like, the main girl sees herself as like a side character, and her best friend as like the main character in like a romance, and she kind of like ships her friend with classmates, and she just kind of figure out what classmate would be best for her. And then one of her classmates comes to her and is like, I have a crush on your friend, can you like help me out? And so she's trying to help him get with her friend, but then in the process she falls for him. But because she considers herself just a side character, she kind of decides not to pursue the feelings. But then he's in love with the friend, but then the friend is not in love with him. She likes somebody else, and then there's a second guy as well who I don't know who he likes yet, but it's going to be someone who doesn't like him back, obviously. Because the series is about unrequited love. I'll probably find out more about him in this volume, because out there, it keeps switching, like, POVs between each of the characters, and he's the only one who we haven't had a POV from yet, so I'm guessing that's going to be in this volume. And last in this pile is I Got Reincarnated in a BL World of Big Man Boobs, or Moobs Isekai as it's also known. The first volume was quite funny. It's about a guy who rubs boobs, and then he gets reincarnated into a world of boobs, but they're man boobs, and he's like, why did I have to get reincarnated into a BL with all these man boobs? Because he wanted to be reincarnated into a world with big boobs. But he got his wish, but not actually. This one's actually written by Sakuji Now, who is a person who I really enjoy her artwork. I knew of her before this came out, because I have one of her art books, and she has very gorgeous artwork in her art books. And her most well-known series in Japan is a series called Akakan, which is kind of like a shoujo with kind of BL undertones to it, which is kind of what she tends to like. This one is actually her first shonen series, and so far it's the only series from her we have published in English. I'm hoping to get more of her works at some point. But because they're quite obscure shoujo titles, I don't know if we ever will. But maybe if this one does well enough, we might. But yeah, she has like 4 art books, and I have the first one, and it's very nice. She's also done some like artwork, like not official artwork, but like some artwork for Howl's Moving Castle in the past before, which is it's like, if you just Google her name and then Howl's Moving Castle, it'll come up. It's very nice. And here's the brass stack. This is the 70s and 1 Square Enix and 1 Viz stack. You really snuggled in there, Rowan. Getting comfortable. Okay, first is Cherry Magic Volume 12. I think it's just been announced recently that Cherry Magic is ending, and I think volume 14 or 15. Well, I knew it probably wouldn't be long before it did end, because things are kind of wrapping up now, with at least with the main couple anyway, so there's some stuff with the side couple that still needs to be kind of wrapped up, but I knew the series would probably be ending soon. But yeah, it's an Office BL. That's good. Next is another BL. This is a new one from Dempsey's. This is Wild Roses and Pretenders. This is a master servant BL, historical sort of manga. The artwork in this one's very nice, and this one's rated 17+, and there is some obviously not safe for work stuff in here, but most of the pages that I can show, it's fine. It's not overly graphic, and obviously compared to some of the others in this pile. But yeah, it's a historical master servant BL. I like the art, and the cover is nice. Next is another BL, and this one is definitely something I cannot open up. This is That Time I Got Stuck to the Guy I Hate. This is a one-shot. It's about two college roommates who hate each other, and they're forced to obviously live in the same dorm. And one day, he falls over. He runs on top of him, trying to stop him from falling over, and they grab hands, and then they kind of get stuck together, and they can't get separated, and the only way to get separated is to ejaculate at the exact same time. So they have to, like, rub one out together, and then they get unstuck, and then it just keeps happening, and so these two guys who just don't like each other are forced to keep giving each other hand jobs, basically, and yeah, it seemed interesting. It's definitely mature. There was no censorship on the dongs whatsoever. So yeah, looking forward to reading this one. And I mainly got it for the title, really. That was quite an amusing title. Next, we have some Steamship. We have Game Between the Suits 5 out of the 3 Steamship in this pile. This one is the Reist. A graphic. Obviously, it still has sex scenes in it, but they're not as graphic as the other 2 volumes in this pile. But yeah, I like Game. It's probably one of my favourite Steamships so far. It's like office romance where they're kind of praying with each other, kind of. They've like entered into this contract where they've agreed to be kind of like, not very friends with benefits because they don't really get along that well, but more like just colleagues with benefits, and then just have sex with each other, basically. I enjoy it anyway. Next is I Can't Refuse S Volume 4. This one is a butler training this girl to be a mistress to the person he works for, because obviously she needs to pay off her father's debts, and she thinks this is probably the best way to go about it. And then the last one is Outbride Beauty and the Beast Volume 6. This one is trashy, and I still like it. A girl, it's an isekai kind of. She wakes up in like a world of kind of supernatural creatures, and there's like this big calamity coming, and they have to have powerful children in order to like combat it. And this girl is the only human left alive, and she is the key to having these powerful children. So these 4 guys are all trying to impregnate her, basically. But she can't survive in this world without consuming a bodily fluid from one of these guys. So they have to keep kissing her to exchange saliva, or having sex to exchange cum, in order to like stop her from dying. And obviously she also has to get with every single one of them to have each of their children, and they're kind of just debating over who gets to have a child first. And yeah, it's very trashy, but I still enjoy it, and the smut is definitely a bit more intense in this one. The only character I really don't like is the angel, the blonde guy. He gets on my nerves. He's kind of a bit too obsessive, and yeah, I tend not to like that character type. But I'm fine with the other three. The wolf guy is probably my favourite. But yeah, she's going to be doing it with them all at some point. Maybe there'll even be a vibe, who knows. Next is The Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom, Volume 7. I needed to think there because it's Roman numerals. But yeah, I really like this series. It's kind of like a historical, medical kind of mystery series. And yeah, it's very good. Obviously, the main character is a doctor, and she's one of the only doctors who knows how to do surgery, and so yeah, she's considered like an oddity because of that, and she's taken to the kingdom by the prince, who she doesn't know he's the prince. But obviously she's convinced to go because she loves muscles, and he's like, come to the muscle capital, and so she goes with him, and now she's like, he's kind of using her to his political advantage by having her heal people and like help people out, is bringing more people to his side, and like, because he wants to take over as emperor in order to get revenge on the current emperor's wife, because she like did something to his mother. But yeah, it's very good, and we're currently in the middle of a storyline that involves a village with people where people keep getting sick and no one knows what's causing it. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens next. Next is another, well, it's not technically new, it's a re-release of a series that's been around for a long time. And that is Pet Shop of Horrors, the Collector's Edition Volume 1. This is a josei kind of horror, I think it's classed as like a supernatural horror mystery. But this one, we follow a detective who's investigating this unusual pet shop, where the owner of the pet shop is just known as what's his name? It's just, his name's just like Count D or Count V or something like that. He owns the pet shop and he sells unusual pets, kind of like this butterfly person in the background. And there's been a lot of cases that seem to involve these pets going around, so the detective goes to the shop to investigate and just comes across this dude, and he tells him about like the rules of the pet shop and stuff like that. It has very nice artwork. There, like, are his pets involved in these crimes, or are the people who buying them not following the rules or something like that? It sounds very interesting. Obviously it has that kind of horror element to it, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. There is I don't know if Tokipop's planning to re-release the sequel, because there's a sequel called Pet Shop of Horrors Tokyo, which took place after, or whether they're just doing the original, but we'll have to see. 2 more. Next up, one of my favourite series, Don't Call It Mystery 11 and 12. After the next omnibus, we will be caught up with Japan, so we'll have to wait for both 15 and 16 to come out before we get them in English, so there might be there's probably going to be a bit of a bigger wait after the next volume comes out before we get the one after. Yeah, this is a josei mystery series that follows Totino, who's just an ordinary college student who wants to eat curry, who keeps getting himself involved in different mysteries and different scenarios that he has to end up kind of getting out of and solving, and yeah, it's very good. And there's like an overall plot as well to do with like zodiac symbols. Like, not the Chinese zodiac, the other zodiac, the like Pisces, the one to do with the star signs and stuff. That zodiac. Yeah, it's great. It's like my favourite Josei manga right now. I really like mysteries, and the mysteries in this one are so intriguing. Totino is a great main character. I absolutely love him. He's like quite quirky, and I like that about him. And yeah, he like dislikes to talk a lot as well and bring up random subjects. Yep, I really enjoyed this one. And last up is My Name is Shingo, Volume 2. This is Kazuo Ume's. It's like a sci-fi horror series about a robot that gains sentience, I think. But this came out in the 80s, and obviously it was released as sci-fi, and it probably will get more sci-fi as it goes along. But as of present day, reading Volume 1 didn't feel like sci-fi. It just felt more like slice of life, because obviously by today's standards the robots that were introduced were kind of just normal. But obviously as the series goes along, the robot will gain more sentience and it'll feel a bit more sci-fi. But obviously for the time when this came out, that would have been like super advanced and not really seen. But yeah, this one is actually thicker than the first volume. So yeah, I did enjoy Volume 1. And I'm looking forward to reading more and seeing how more advanced this robot becomes. It's quite heavy as well. This is actually the first volume I received from Sci-Fi that had those like corner protectors on it, even though it's not a box set. But it had like some on the top and some on the bottom. And it's the first time I've ever touched one. It was quite present. Anyway, that is it for the haul. In total, that was 34 volumes from Sci-Fi, plus 4 from Dragon Ball Zoe, plus 1 from Vinted. So that's like 34 plus 5, which would be 35, 6, 7, 8, 39. 39 volumes. So right, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you for a reading log next month, which is 2 days' time. Obviously, the reading log won't come out in 2 days' time. It's usually a few days into the month. But yeah, March is in 2 days' time already. Anyway, bye. And bye from Rowan, who is fast asleep.